Now, South Africans are voting in one of the most crucial municipal elections since the country made a transition to democracy in 1994. More than 26 million citizens are expected to cast their ballots. The ruling ANC is expected to lose support in the larger cities. That's where there's been violent protests against corruption and unemployment. Well, let's get more analysis on these elections and speak to Phillip. He's an editor at the Mail and Guardian newspaper in Johannesburg. Phillip, good to speak to you this morning. So this is being seen as a bit of a referendum on Zuma and his leadership. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, it's certainly being seen as such by many people, including opposition parties and people within the African National Congress, although the pro-Zuma faction with the ANC is desperately trying to prevent against it being seen as such, because, of course, President Jacob Zuma will be facing internal party elections next year, and those are quite crucial. And if this is seen as a referendum, and if the ANC does as poorly as many predictions say it will, that could be very bad news for Zuma.
And how about the opposition there in South Africa, Phillip? How strong are they, and are they a viable alternative for voters who want to challenge the ANC?
Well, opposition parties both on the left and the right of the ANC are making significant inroads. On the left, the major opposition party, the Democratic Alliance, all polls show that it will do very well in the metropolitan areas where it is strongest. On the left of the ANC, the upstart economic freedom fighters have been making inroads more into rural areas. And between them, it looks like they may have major cities under their control if they can come to some kind of agreement and alliance after this election.
Is that likely, Phillip, that they will come to some kind of an agreement? As you said, they're both on the left and the right of the ANC. It's quite a difficult bridge to span, isn't it?
It is, and it's going to make for some interesting bedfellows regardless of what happens. The EFF has, for instance, said that it will never go into alliance with the ANC. The DA is mortally opposed to the ANC, so neither of those parties can really form alliance with the ANC. But somehow cities in which the votes will be very close will have to be governed. The smaller parties are pulling in less than 5% on the votes based on all of the polls that we've seen. So it does seem that these two parties, the DA and the EFF, which have nothing in common ideologically, may have to come to some kind of arrangement.
Absolutely. And finally then, Phillip, of course, you can't really talk about South African politics without mentioning race, and Jacob Zuma has brought that into the debate, talking about the leader, particularly the Democratic Alliance, as being the puppet of white masters. How's that playing out with voters?
Not particularly well, as best we can tell. The ANC continues to try and tar the DA with this apartheid brush. In one official statement recently, it called the DA the Trojan horse of apartheid. As best we can tell, voters are not responding positively to that. That doesn't seem to make any difference whatsoever in the crucial segment, which is the undecided voters. They seem to be dismissing those kinds of comments as just politicking.
Okay, well, Phillip, good to speak to you as always from the Mail and Guardian there in South Africa. Thank you.